Welcome to our channel, Beast Whisperer. She came to me when the earth was tired and the sky was bleeding orange across the horizon. I was sitting on the edge of my makeshift camp, sharpening a rusted knife, when I heard the cry. Not a roar, not a growl, not the guttural thunder you'd expect from a lioness. This was softer, a sound soaked in agony. I'd spent enough years in the bush to know animal cries from miles away, but this one stopped my breath. It wasn't hunting. It wasn't warning. It was grieving. I stood slowly. My dog, Kazi, pricked his ears and gave me a sideways glance, like he'd felt it too. The kind of sound that rattles something deep in your chest. I grabbed the lantern and followed the sound down through the tall grass, past the thorny acacias, toward the dry riverbed. And then, I saw her. A lioness, thin, trembling, coated in dust like she'd been walking for days without stopping. Her shoulders sagged beneath her fur. Her tail dragged behind her like it had lost the will to swing. And in her jaws, she held a cub. Limp, dangling, barely breathing. She stopped about 20 feet away and looked at me. Not the way wild animals normally look at humans, like a threat or prey or something to avoid. No, she looked at me like she recognized something in me, like she'd made a decision, like she had nowhere else to go. She set the cub down, very gently, and backed away, but she didn't run. She sat, watching, waiting. And I swear to you, under the dimming sky with the wind brushing through her fur, she began to cry. Not the way humans cry, of course, but her chest heaved. Her eyes blinked slowly. She let out a soft, mournful moan, low and broken. The kind of sound that only comes from a place deeper than instinct. I didn't know what to do. I was just a man who had once tried to outrun his past. A man who had come to the wild to escape noise, confusion, failure. But in that moment, something bigger than either of us bound me to her. I crouched and examined the cub. He was barely alive. His fur was matted with dirt and blood. His breathing was shallow, labored. The heat had taken its toll. He needed water, maybe medicine, maybe more than I could give. But I couldn't turn away. I wrapped him in my old jacket and carried him to camp. She followed, walking 10 paces behind. Quiet, dignified, determined. Kazi watched her the whole way, not barking once. Like he knew this wasn't a threat, it was a plea. That night, I boiled water, filtered what I could, and used a syringe to drip it between the cub's lips. I crushed some antibiotics, leftovers from when I once treated a wounded hyena pup, and mixed it into a paste. The cub whimpered weakly. His body jerked from time to time like it was caught between life and death, unsure which one to choose. I sat by his side all night. Every hour, she'd approach the edge of the camp, peer in, then retreat. She never crossed the line, never growled, just waited. By dawn, he was still alive. That in itself felt like a miracle. Over the next few days, I nursed him back, one slow hour at a time. I fed him drops of goat milk, wrapped him in cloth, kept the flies away. And she never left. She didn't hunt, she didn't eat. She just circled the perimeter like a sentinel. Sometimes she'd lie close enough that I could see her eyes following every move I made. There was no aggression, only trust. And then something strange started to happen. Kazi, my dog, began sleeping beside the cub. At first, I worried it would upset her. But she didn't flinch. In fact, she started coming closer. One evening, I saw her nudge Kazi gently with her nose, almost like a silent thank you. She trusted my dog to protect her child when she couldn't. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just survival. This was surrender. A mother laying her last hope in the hands and paws of strangers. Letting go of control, because love had nowhere else to turn. By the end of the first week, the cub could stand. Wobbly, yes, but stronger. I started calling him Tambo, which means hope in the old tongue. I don't know why I named him. I guess because I didn't want him to be just another story of loss. The Lioness, by now I had started calling her Nia, which means purpose, began taking small trips into the bush. She'd return with small kills, rabbits, birds, once even a young impala. She never ate them herself. She left them near the camp, offerings, gratitude. Then, one evening, she didn't return. I waited all night, the next day, and the next. Tambo grew restless, pacing at the edge of the trees, sniffing the air. But she was gone. No tracks, no blood, no sound. And just when I thought she might never return, I saw her silhouette at the top of the hill. But she wasn't alone. She had found another cub, one not hers. He was bigger, older, but injured, limping. And behind her, dragging slowly, was an old male lion, scarred, weary, half-starved. She had brought them to us. And I realized she wasn't just trying to save her own anymore. She was building something. Over the next few months, my camp became a strange sanctuary. 4 lions, 1 dog, and a man who once believed he had nothing left to offer the world. And yet, every day, I watched Tambo grow stronger. The old male, whom I came to call Bantu, protected the young ones like a father. Naya, always alert, became the soul of our circle. She never let her guard down fully, but she never again cried. Sometimes at night, I'd hear them breathing around me, deep, steady, anchored. And in those moments, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Belonging. But the wilderness doesn't allow forever. One morning, the lions were gone. No blood, no struggle, just the grass flattened where they had slept, and the faint prints leading back into the vastness. They didn't say goodbye. They didn't need to. They were never mine to keep. But they left me with something far greater than company. They left me with purpose. You see, before all this, I thought I had come to the wild to disappear. To leave behind the noise, the betrayal, the empty promises of the human world. But in trying to run away, I was found by a lioness who cried, by a cub who survived, by a tribe of creatures who trusted me not because I was perfect, but because I stayed. And now I know. Sometimes, when life seems beyond saving, what we really need isn't a miracle. It's someone who listens. Someone who stays when everyone else leaves. Someone who doesn't run when the pain is too much to bear. Naya taught me that. That strength isn't in how loud you roar, but how much you're willing to risk for love. That even in the wild where survival reigns, compassion still matters. And that when a lioness cries, the world should listen. Because behind every tear, there's a story. And some stories are meant to save us.